If you're a B2B tech founder who's tried ads, funnels, agencies, or content, and it still feels like marketing just doesn't work, then this video is for you. The problem usually isn't your execution. It's that most B2B tech companies that are running marketing are designing it for impulse purchases in an buying environment that's anything but impulsive. So you have to remember, you're not selling peanuts here. You're selling the equivalent of a house. Multiple people are involved, the risk is real, and no one decides to purchase a house on the spot. So what I'm going to do in this video is talk through exactly some of the biggest reasons as to why marketing is failing for most tech firms and what you can do instead to shift your way of thinking and be able to make sure that you're creating marketing from the lens of what actually works and converts. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to talk about is that, like I was just alluding to, is that marketing designed for impulse decisions in a consensus-based environment is really what's going to stunt your growth in terms of your company. So most agencies that are marketing a lot of these B2B tech companies, what they're optimizing their marketing for is like single decision makers, fast emotional buys, and low risk transactions. But in the B2B tech space, there's multiple decision makers, right? You typically have like sales cycles that are sometimes a month to 3 months, even 6 months. They're these decisions that, bringing you on can be career risk decisions, right? So for example, if they hire you and you're a bad hire, they can potentially lose their job. So they want to make sure that they're not just buying off a hype and buying off excitement, but that there's real justification. And so one of the things that I see a lot of tech companies make a mistake with is that they're positioning their marketing as if you were selling something that's not to the gravity in terms of what it is that you're selling, right? You want to make sure that you're building trust, which I'm going to get into in a second, and really making sure that you're helping you build that relationship with that prospect that's ultimately going to lead to a sale. So point number one is that you want to make sure that you're not designing your marketing for, sales tactics or saying, hey, there's only 3 spots left and it's running out, and, having those kind of gimmicky things. Those things don't work in the B2B enterprise space. I mean, they can, but I would just stay away from them, right? That's not going to be what you want to build your business on top of. So the first thing is understanding the type of buying environment that you're in. There's multiple decision makers, so gear your marketing towards that. Now, the second thing that I want to talk through is that on top of thinking through marketing in the lens of there's multiple decision makers, you also have to start thinking about it as a trust building journey. This is a relationship sale, and so you can't design it around a conversion event. So you have to start thinking about how can I build a journey for my prospects to go through where I can help build trust with them, I can answer any of their objections, and I can make them feel safe before a salesperson ever speaks to them. So what I want you to start thinking about this is through the lens of dating, right? So if you're going to take a girl on a date, on that first date, you're not going to think about proposing to her on that first date. I mean, you could, but the chances of her saying yes to you are going to be way lower than if you took her out for dinner multiple times, if you met her parents, if you've moved in with her, if you've, been talking for a year, then you're going to have that higher probability of her saying yes to obviously you proposing to her, right? So you want to think about this in the same lens in terms of your sales and your marketing, right? You want to make sure that you're building trust with people through your marketing. Once they hop on a call with you, you're not trying to just sell them on the first call, right? You're trying to loop in other decision makers. You want to understand what their technical requirements are. So the whole purpose of your marketing is to being able to think about it as a journey, right? What journey are you taking through your customers, and what journey are you meeting them at? Because every single prospect comes in through a different journey. Are they aware of the problem? Are they looking for solutions? Are they comparing you against competitors? So every single journey that someone comes through is slightly different. And so you have to make sure that your marketing is geared towards those specific journeys. So point number 2 is all about making sure that you're building trust. Trust is the lubricant for your sales in 2026, especially as we move more towards this AI function and more people have this skepticism around almost every product that they buy. So that's point number 2, is making sure that you're building out that trust journey. Now, the last thing that I'm going to talk about here, and one of the biggest areas that I see a lot of tech founders go wrong about, is because they love their product, they love their service, that they talk about the product or service instead of answering the buyer's real questions. So what I want you to think about is that if you were buying a parachute, would you care about the types of materials that they use to construct the parachute? Would that be the first question that would come out of your mouth? Maybe that's important, but is that going to be the first question that you're going to ask? No, you're typically going to ask, is this going to keep me alive? Who have you done this for in the past? Who's used this parachute? How many times has it opened? Has there been a scenario where it hasn't opened? What actually happened in that scenario? Was it the parachute's fault? Was it the person that was pulling it? Or you want to know exactly if this parachute is going to keep me alive, right? That is your main concern when buying a parachute. You're not going to be asking about the types of materials. Maybe you will, but that's not going to influence your decision in terms of you buying that parachute. So what you want to make sure that your marketing is not geared towards is your features, right? Because people ultimately don't care much about features. In some products they do, but really what they want to understand is this going to be able to help me achieve the outcome that I'm looking for? What happens if this fails? Who else have you done this for? How painful is this implementation? What makes you different from your competitors? And once you answer these questions, you're going to be able to give your prospects more information that's going to bring them closer to a buying decision. So I often want you to think about, in terms of these decisions, that you have to present enough information that's relevant to this prospect in order for them to make a decision. So the more information that you can actually give to them even before they hop on a sales call with you is actually going to help you speed up your sales cycle. It's going to help you build more trust. It's going to help you stand out amongst your competitors. And so really you want to start thinking about, what are the questions that are my prospects typically asking, and how can I make either content around this, or how can I implement this within my sales process so that I can answer these questions before they hop on a call with me, or even after they hop on a call with me. So just a quick one on this, right? What you could do is just have like a confirmation page as soon as someone books a call. List out the 8 most commonly asked questions that people typically ask about your product or your service, and record videos just like I'm doing. Talks about a specific problem that a lot of people have and why you're maybe better than your competitors, and doing so in a way that's, giving them more information and being helpful in their journey, in building trust, right? Because that's what we're doing. We're implementing this process to build trust, to increase the certainty in which they have with your product or your service that's going to help them solve their problems. So that's the main thing that I want you guys to be thinking about, is building that journey, right? Not designing your marketing for an impulse purchase, because most people aren't going to close on one call. Maybe you're going to have your exceptions that they hop on a call with you, they love everything, and they're like, hey, sign me up. But is that what you're going to build your marketing around? No, you want to build your marketing around the actual mean of people that are coming through your funnel. Typically, they're going to require more information. It's going to be slightly longer sales cycles. So you have to build your marketing and your sales process around that itself. So let's make sure that you're implementing that way of thinking moving forward so that you can maximize the amount of sales that you're getting in your actual company. Now, if you guys are curious about how we help companies build this specific journey geared around trust and actually marketing that's worked specifically for tech firms, go ahead and click the link in the description. You can book a call with me. I'll be happy to walk you through our process, how it works, and how we've helped at this point 50 plus tech firms build out a predictable acquisition system that's geared specifically towards their buyers. So without further ado though, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more B2B content related to tech. Take it easy, guys. Ciao, ciao. Bye.